The future is female, so let's welcome to the stage Heidi Sieck with Vote Pro-Choice.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Hi. So it's a perfect that I'm following all of my dear friends from Vote Rent Lead and all of the rest because I get to talk about what Genevieve asked me to talk about was electoral strategy and rapid response. So I am with Vote Pro-Choice. I'm the CEO, Chief Empowerment Officer, and co-founder. And what we are is a national political platform of Democrats.com LLC that connects pro-choice voters and pro-choice candidates. We, last year, built the largest progressive pro-choice voter guide in all of the world with the partnership of Ballot Ready, a women-owned tech company here out of Chicago. We love them. We did 104 partners, and with your help, we distributed over 31 million ballot guides to voter guides to help folks vote pro-choice all the way up and down the ballot. And why is that so important? Is because we have so much at stake right now, and there's so much threat at stake. But I think one of the reasons why Genevieve asked me to talk about electoral strategy and rapid response is from a different perspective, because I'm also a disaster responder. I grew up in a household full of disaster responders. If there was a tornado or a fire or a car crash, my family would walk toward it. And then later, a portion of my career, I served as a disaster responder for the city of San Francisco. So it was my job to rebuild the city after it falls down in an earthquake. So what better place for me than to be in reproductive rights in 2016 politics? Yes? We have a bit of a disaster. So, so what I've learned over the years with my training and my experience is that sometimes when you feel like you're in the vortex of crazy, there's a lack of leadership. You've got all of these presidential candidates running. I mean, it's like, I'll be honest, it's like, I call it the Game of Groans. It's like episode 46, the White Walkers, men who won't sit down. I had to say it. It's Feminist Power Hour. I'm sorry. My eyes are going to stick rolling back in my head. Okay, so this presentation will be short, and it's basically stating the obvious. So we're just going to state a few obvious things. One, and I often find that that's very orienting when you're in a situation of disaster. So one, we have actually elections every week in the United States of America, and we've got a bunch of them in 2019, so we're going to cover those. The other thing I want us to remember is that we actually have the voters. The numbers are on our side. Folks are on our side when it comes to issues like reproductive freedom and gun control. And a vast majority of people don't think Donald Trump is doing a good job. So yes, we have a lot of threats that are coming at us, but we also have to remember there's a lot of possibility too. So we know for sure that we need to be mobilizing all of our voters in every election everywhere. As Aaron said, we need to be running great candidates in every election everywhere. We know we need to be expanding the electorate. We need to be registering as many people as we can, and we also need to be really, really honest about the threats we're facing, both existentially and infrastructure-wise. So very quickly, this is what 2019 looks like for us. Everyone's going to be focusing on Virginia. Yeah, it's a presidential battleground. But we also have some other really key races that are happening. Louisiana, Mississippi, Kentucky, particularly through the lens of reproductive freedom, they are some of the worst places in America to exercise your reproductive freedom. I'll talk a little bit more about that. I don't want to scare you too much. But Vote Pro-Choice is going to be focusing on Louisiana. Oh, whoops, sorry. Vote Pro-Choice is going to be focusing on Louisiana and Kentucky because it is so truly horrible there for women. And I'm telling you this is because we do have to remember that those elections are happening all the time, and that we can be allocating our resources to making sure that we have great candidates running in every race. And we do have a collective calendar and collective strategy that we'll share with everyone just to make sure that we are covering all of our bases. So the other thing is, in 2019, we have thousands and thousands of municipal races also. There's, I think, what did I say? What does it say up there? 13,000 races in 46 states. We have all of these cities that are going to be having their municipal races. Why is this important? These are the folks that are enforcing the laws that bring us so much pain. These are the folks, the elected sheriffs that may be collaborating with ICE. These are the folks that are throwing women in jail for self-inducing abortions. There was a woman in Indiana who served 6 months in jail for actually self-inducing a miscarriage. And if you think about all of the elected officials that were involved in causing her to be charged with 20 years and serving time in jail for making that decision, it included everything from the sheriff to the public defender, the district attorney, the state legislators, the governor, all of it. So it's so critically important that we be focusing on these down ballot municipal races every single year, every single cycle, however we can. We at Vote Pro-Choice will be focusing on 26 of the main municipal races, helping support and endorse pro-choice candidates in all of these races, and investing extra money in making sure that you know who to vote for your school boards, judges, and DAs. And we're looking for partners for that project. But also, another reason why it's so important to focus on down ballot races is I'm just going to let this slide speak for itself. So, you know, look at these candidates. They started in local office, at county clerk level, at state legislative level, at district attorneys. So come on now. Now, that's why we have to do this. Not be thinking about the presidentials as much in 2020, but looking at what's happening now. So, what do you get when you invest in infrastructure? The other side's been doing it for 2 decades. And I'll speak to it from the aspect of reproductive rights. Because of the investment in leadership development from municipal to the state to the federal level, the other side has been able to get 20 abortion cases in the pipeline to the Supreme Court. Over 250 anti-choice bills have been passed or introduced in 41 states just this year. 10 states have passed fetal heartbeat bills. We've got 5 states with trigger bans, meaning 10 days after Roe v. Wade is overturned, some people will be facing criminal charges for making a clear choice about what they want to do with their families and their bodies. And of course, ultimately, with this investment in infrastructure, they won the ultimate goal, which is a political operative sitting on the Supreme Court of the United States. So, that's the bad news. Again, one of the principles that we should evaluate for ourselves are, and you've heard it all day today, what is the infrastructure that we have? I want to honor NewFounders Conference and all of the incredible organizations that are here that are building technology infrastructure, as well as the existing organizations like the DCCC, the DLCC, the DSCC, DAGA, and all of the organizations that do so much to support our work. We have the majority. A majority of people in this country do believe that there should be reproductive freedom in America. They do believe in sensible gun control and compassionate immigration. And for us, it's so important that we remember that our infrastructure is while we may be behind in investment, we have the resources, so our infrastructure is important. So as we evaluate our work, what is the infrastructure that we're investing in? For us, it's things like our election calendar. And then, how does the strategy fit in? To evaluate our work again, are we aligning our strategy with the time and the resource allocation connected to what's important? Are we looking at the municipals? Are we all running toward the shiny object of the presidential? Are we all running to the shiny object of Virginia? What about the women of Louisiana? Can we allocate those resources? We have plenty of time, plenty of money, plenty of people, and we're on the right side of history. And finally, what couldn't be more important are our relationships. The convenings that we have here, yeah, we're sitting here looking at each other like I'm giving you a quick 5-minute, 10-minute speech, and we've been doing that all day. But to what extent can we really work together? And to what extent are we willing to look beyond the compliance lenses of our minds to what needs to be done, which is basically going back to what I said before, electing great progressive candidates everywhere, supporting new talent, new leadership, and new organizations, as well as connecting them to the strategies of the past. Now, I have a whole section on rapid response, but we don't have time to do that, so it's basically me screaming everybody joining together. Rapid response is not something that happens out of the blue. It comes from relationships, coordination, great media strategy, and it's how we work together. So thank you all so much, and we look forward to partnering with you on our voter guide in 2019.